What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Rezolve. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Rezolve is down 3.54%, 667 the low, 742 the high, and a fair amount of volume. So 25.3 million shares being traded, 16.4 is the average. So for those of you that tuned into my video yesterday, you would know that there was that gap that needed to be filled. This pull lower ultimately did fill that gap. Although based on a lot of the data points I'm going to be bringing up, you kind of have some conflicting data points. So ultimately, the market is reacting based on what Powell said. And so far right now, there's that 25 basis point cut that the market's digesting. But Powell afterwards, he's kind of a little bit more doom and gloomish, saying that this 25 basis point cut was more of a preventative measure for more damaging things, and that he doesn't see this 25 basis point cut really doing all that much. So it's kind of a weird type of scenario, but nonetheless, the market does seem to be taking this overall as a pretty strong positive and really moving higher. Rezolve did put out this right here. So Rezolve AI stands out as others stumble in 375 billion AI scaling race. And this is something actually I appreciate from Rezolve, is during the most recent conferences, they actually did some jabs at other AI plays, such as SoundHound. So I think Rezolve they say a lot of fighting words, and I think their management, like I've stated in the past, has the experience to stand up and back what they say. And so ultimately in here, they say that they are going to have stronger margins than other AI plays, and that essentially they are better suited for market expansion. So that's kind of more of the story, what this all is saying, and good stuff. I gotta admit that a lot of PRs have been coming out. So they put out news today, yesterday, September the 15th, 12th, even on social media, that they are very, very active. So even though you're not seeing official news on some days, they are posting on social media, and it's oriented towards actual shareholders, not customers. So they kind of know what their target audience is, because social media is all about appealing to a certain audience. And I think they generally know people on Twitter, for instance, are investors. So definitely whoever is managing their social media, keep on doing a good job. At the time of doing this video though, shorts are increasing 1.01 million shares. 9.5% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 11.25 million shares overall being shorted. So interestingly enough, you are seeing some individuals bringing up how Rezolve is a squeeze play. I don't think it is in reality. Like, you need a crazy surprise catalyst to really prompt a squeeze, but I'm just bringing this up more for analysis purposes, just so you can kind of see exactly what is happening behind the scenes. Cost to borrow average is 81.35%, and looking at the options, 9.47 million in calls, 260,000 in puts. So even though it is pulling a little bit lower, you are seeing a hell of a lot of optimism. 79% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. So right here, 2.3 million just between 9:30 and 9:35, and then between 9:50 and 9:55, another 2.5 million. So I'll kind of go and cycle back to this in a second, but I want to quickly pop over to the dark pool, because like I said, you kind of have conflicting data points. So based on the dark pool, look at that same time period. So starting at 9:30, you had 1.38 million, 1.38, 1.36, 1.38, 1.36, 1.43, 2.74, 1.43, and then 1.43. Big money buying the hell out of Rezolve. And during that time frame, this is when it just exploded. So pretty much the bottom for the most part, and at the peak, this run right here, during of which this is where these options were done. So if we kind of pop open one of them, you can kind of see, and if I orient it based on premiums, a lot of bullishness, and it looks as though that it's ranging for the most part, looks like November of this year, February of next year, ranging from about 5 to 450, all straight up calls. So that is very optimistic, very bullish. And so they are paying a little bit higher of a premium because it is in the money options, not out of the money. So yeah, this is honestly very, very bullish. So whoever had this amount of money is someone big players, right? Because if you think about it, they bought the actual options as well as they dumped this amount of money in the actual dark pool. So a lot of big buys going on. So again, you have that all very bullish. And what I meant at the very beginning, why is somewhat conflicting, is because if we pop over here based on this, as I brought up in the past, the market position, comparing it over the last couple of trading days to today, you have not that much buying. So you have a couple walls, ultimately 670. That's where all the buying does conclude, and then it just dries up. So potentially, if there is some negativity in the broader market and overwhelms this amount of kind of willing buyers, this is where you could see a significant pullback. So you kind of have conflicting data points, but nonetheless, though, I do feel that based on the bullish options and the big money buying, definitely there could be some big things coming. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Going back over here for a second, from a bulls standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around $9 for this upcoming week. And again, they only have monthly options. Most likely they will be opening up new ones soon, but as of right now, it looks like $9 is kind of on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 6. So even the bears, they don't really see much downside. So definitely good to see, in my opinion. Aside from that, with it at 715, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 616 is going to be a strong support. 745 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. I'm looking at the 1-day chart as well. So these are very strong support and resistance points. There hasn't been any new analyst ratings or anything along those lines. No real articles either coming out associated to Rezolve, aside from just the news that kind of came out today. So it's interesting that nobody's really talking about Rezolve. I've seen a couple comments how me and one other YouTuber are the only ones talking about Rezolve, but I guess the other individual is only kind of saying that it's going to $100 or something like that, which, given the time, not straight away, definitely not this year, but maybe a couple years down the line, and if their growth plan comes to fruition, then yeah, maybe it could hit that $100 mark. But I think it's very, very premature to start talking about triple digit. I think at least start to focus on double digit. But I think in the short term, you might see some level of consolidation, which will build stronger support levels. And then from there, that's where it'll move higher, most likely correlated with their upcoming earnings, which is on October the 1st. So I did read a lot of the comments, and seems as though a lot of people want me to live stream it. I can definitely do that. So stay tuned for that. So I'll put that out in the next week and a half. That way you can kind of prepare and have that scheduled in. But aside from that, though, I think on the actual chart, even though it's a little bit red today, it's still looking pretty a-okay. So I think, given the circumstances of the market, that every opportunity now, any stock that does pull a little bit lower, is a good buying opportunity. So that's just my opinion. I think just Powell is very doom and gloomish and everything else. One thing, hopefully on a side note, that Rezolve does bring out and mention during the upcoming October 1st earnings is the breakdown of where their revenue does come from. So we can kind of look at the revenue breakdown. It just shows, which, mind you, this is old data, right? Because they only do semi-annual reporting, but it does show 187,000 in revenue only from the UK. I don't know if that's just how they classify it or code it technically, but it'd be interesting to see exactly where their revenue does truly come from and where their customers are. So yeah, let me know your general thoughts on Rezolve. Where do you see things going? Do you think we're going to be consolidating? Do you think we're going to be breaking out? Do you think we're going to be seeing triple digit in post earnings? And what's your kind of viewpoint on all of that? One final thing, if you are looking for a lot of good stocks, day trades, swing trades, and whatever else, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.